Hi, it is the resident dungeon master of Bygone Games once again. Um, I want to start this kind of channel update slash preview video thing that we're doing right now uh, with a bit of an apology. Um, Particularly for the abrupt end of the last campaign that was being recorded here on the channel. That was Mage the Ascension. It came to a close due to personal uh, personal problems that arose within the group that will remain unnamed, but it no longer was feasible for everyone participating to continue to enjoy the game. And that being said, the remaining players and myself kind of came together and decided that it would be better for us to simply end things than to have to split the group and progress only with several of the characters instead of everyone. That is, things happen, groups end. It is the nature of the gaming group that things like this can happen. Campaigns can die, and it's just something that when you play as long as some of us have, that we become accustomed to and have grown used to. Secondly, I would like to address my, well, blatant absence in the last several months. Um, Last year was a lot. um, Last year was a lot for me. I had several events that took impact happening in my family, as well as my own personal life. I graduated university last year, so a good portion of my last year was me really kind of striving to make that final push to earn my degree, which I did, thankfully. And my own shifting and teetering mental health, which I've been aware of for a few years, but the increasing stress and things, other events brought along by the pandemic, have not been kind to that facet of my life. But I'm feeling kind of renewed and going to try to take another crack at this in the new year. Moving away from that kind of apology and sour note, though, and onto something probably a little bit more happy, particularly for the viewers that have been long awaiting the return of content on this channel. Um, Currently, there is no new planned campaign going to start on the channel. There's just been too much happening, and being completely honest, I have kind of stopped running in a easily accessible to record format. It's real easy to record online when we're doing these Roll20 games, but a lot more of the gaming sessions that we've been doing with my graduating from university, I've moved back to my hometown, and a lot more of these gaming sessions that this group that I love so much have been playing are in person. And while it is feasible for a few of us to gather microphones and try to record these in-session or these in-person sessions, it is not something that we really want to deal with, especially because these gaming sessions have been happening for, at this point, a couple months. And the manner at which we get together to do this is more a drawn out throughout the day kind of thing, instead of just sit down and play for 4 hours. I apologize with all my humming and hawing. I did not write a script for this. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. So I've been playing a lot more, not been running, so there's no new content in that form that is coming. However, I do have content planned. There is a lot of new games coming out for PC in the coming months that I am very much looking forward to. The new Total War Warhammer being one of those. I myself kind of, not as much as, say, Lore Master of Sotek or some of the very, very long-standing fans of the franchise, but I do think I'm fairly knowledgeable in Warhammer universe, both in fantasy and 40k, and I greatly enjoy it, and will most likely be bringing content to the channel covering that game. As well as the new Blood Bowl, which should be coming out here in the next several months, which I plan to be making teams and recording the seasons and the runs that I get with certain teams once that game comes out. On the tabletop scene, I have two things planned out right now. The first is I am still working on the format that I wish to use and the script and what I want to do for each episode, but I'm considering starting a series as a kind of instructional or educational series on how new DMs can get started, like tips and tricks for when you're just starting out learning to game master, as well as world building, because there's, I think, a lot of people out there that really want to homebrew settings or homebrew games that have a bit of a problem when they hit that wall of, where do I start? Where do I start with the lore of this world? How do I build the world? How do I have it make sense? What are things that I'm missing and not thinking about that my players keep bringing up that I'm just drawing a blank on? Things like that can hopefully give my opinion and I don't want to say expertise, but my experience with dealing with this kind of thing as a dungeon master. And lastly, and probably coming out sooner than that instructional series as a dungeon master, will be a thing I'm going to attempt that is a long-standing Dungeons and Dragons campaign that I have run through several times for several different groups, and am nearing the conclusion of with my most recent group that I started playing with when I moved up for university. This game was well underway by the time the channel got started, and I didn't feel like starting to record a D&D campaign where the characters were already level 6 or 7 when I started producing content for this channel several years ago. So this is going to be more of a kind of fictional written, I want to say novella, or telling of the events of the campaign that have transpired. I'm going to try to write it in a flowing fictional piece telling about the exploits of the characters through history, almost as if it is being told after the events of the campaign have concluded. by some sort of historian or wizard or bardic source that's telling this tale about the party and what they did in the years that this campaign takes place in. I would like the first part of that to be done by the end of the month, but I make no promises. The writing portion of it is going well, but I'm still having to figure out how I want to provide visual aid, if I'm going to do that in a kind of slideshow format for you all, or what. I haven't quite decided how I want to do that. So just stay tuned and know that I am alive and that content is coming. It has just been a rough past year, and I'm still kind of easing myself into a schedule of working on things for the channel again. Depending if someone else starts to run a game and is feeling comfortable with me recording as a player, that might be on the table in the future, as well as future games where I am DMing and of course recording. But that kind of content might be on hold for a little bit here on the channel. Unfortunately, with the extended hiatus that has already occurred. I hope and am going to try to strive to get back on a schedule where I can put out some form of weekly content. I hope, if not every 2 weeks content. We'll just kind of have to see how quickly I can get this kind of telling of this D&D campaign in a format that I am happy with, because I don't want to throw garbage on this channel and at you guys, because there's no point. There's honestly no point in me putting out an unfinished product. So I thank you for understanding and having patience with me as I get my shit together, putting it frank. I'm trying to think. I cannot really recall anything else I really want to touch on in this. Just I wish you all a happy holiday season, whether it be Christmas or New Year's or Hanukkah or any other of the myriad of holidays that occurs in the months of January and December. And I hope that you all will be able to hear from me soon. And I look forward to bringing more content of hopefully appeasing nature to all the wayward nerds and geeks out there that love this kind of thing. So I should probably stop rambling about now, but I just kind of wanted to cement in there that the 200 or so of you that are subscribed to this channel, I'm very thankful to you and aware of my lack of content, and kind of I know content creators often have this kind of feel of we feel obligated to bring new content out, and a majority of our audiences are very understanding and trusting and accepting that sometimes people need time and sometimes life just doesn't allow for this kind of thing. But there is a part of me that does feel a little let down with myself for having left for so long. So hopefully 2022 will be a bit better, a bit better for everyone. But all right, with that kind of closing words, I hope to see you all again soon, and to share what I know and the stories that I have within me in the future on this channel. Thank you all very much for listening and for subscribing and liking videos that, in my opinion, were well, mediocre, but you all seem to love them very much, and that means a lot to me. So I hope to hear from you all again soon, and I hope you have a good morning or evening or whenever this video finds you.